The late 70s marked the genesis of the Sunset Strip's hard rock era. Clubs like Whiskey A Go Go, the Roxy, and the Rainbow Bar and Grill became the breeding grounds for bands that would go on to shape a generation. The Strip was more than a location, it was a lifestyle, a culture that thrived on loud music, wild parties, and an unapologetic disregard for the norm. As the 80s dawned, this vibrant scene exploded into mainstream consciousness. Bands like Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, and Poison emerged from the darker corners of the Strip, their music a raw, visceral response to the polished pop that dominated the airwaves. Their sound was loud, their lyrics provocative, and their image rebellious, a far cry from the clean-cut image of the previous decade. The mid-80s saw the Sunset Strip hard rock scene reach its zenith. It was a time of excess, of big hair, bigger egos, and the biggest guitar solos. Bands were selling out stadiums, and their videos were on constant rotation on MTV. This was the era of Appetite for Destruction, Shout at the Devil, and Look What the Cat Dragged In. Seminal albums that defined a generation and solidified the Strip's place in rock history. But as the decade drew to a close, the Strip began to lose its luster. The music industry was evolving and grunge was on the horizon. The hard rock bands that had once ruled the Strip found themselves struggling to stay relevant in a rapidly changing musical landscape. The Strip's heyday was over, but its impact was indelible. In summary, the 80s hard rock Sunset Strip era was a heady mix of loud music, wild parties, and unabashed rebellion. It birthed bands like Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, and Poison, who challenged the status quo with their provocative lyrics and rebellious image. The Strip was more than a location, it was a lifestyle, a culture that thrived on excess and disregarded the norm. The scene reached its peak in the mid-80s, only to wane as the decade ended and musical tastes evolved. But its legacy lives on, a testament to a time when rock was king and the Strip was its kingdom.